Hey little hoes, my name is Kristen and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be one that I have procrastinated and put off quite a bit. I've mentioned it several times throughout my videos, my needing to make some moss poles for some of my larger plants. Last week I finally got around to doing it. I collected all the supplies to make sort of a lazy moss pole. So I originally did a few of these moss poles up just to try and get the hang of it, see if I liked them and if they worked out well before making a video on them. So I will be showing you guys today my process and what I did, what I used to make these guys. I did stake up my Philodendron squamiferum, my Monstera sultanpicana, as well as the Monstera carsteniana, which has just gone crazy with the trailing. All in all, it was pretty simple. My method was getting cocoa fiber, the matte cocoa liner for baskets. My work sells the cocoa liner on a roll by the foot, so I just grabbed a few feet that I thought I might need, some extra 1x1 boards that we recycle at work, some staples, some of those big industrial staples, which I'll try and insert what size they were here. If I could, in hindsight, I would probably get longer staples, just because when it comes to wrapping it around and that double layer that you want to secure, it would be better with a longer staple to get through both layers. But I did try and remedy that by also getting some twine, wrapping that around between the staples in the direction that I was wrapping the cocoa fiber to lessen some of the tension on them, so hopefully I wouldn't have a whole bunch popping out. But overall, I am super happy with this. There are a few other methods that I would like to give a try to at some point. There's the just wrapping the sphagnum moss around a pole, but I kind of feel that they look awesome, but I kind of feel like it's going to slide on down the pole like a stripper on a Saturday night. There's just something, I don't think that there's enough like traction to keep it on the pole, especially if you have a heavy aeroid that's potentially going to be climbing on it and bringing the whole thing down. So that's why I kind of chose this method, at least for some of my more vigorous growers. Something more delicate, I may try the moss method. I've also seen where people will get a pole, some chicken wire or mesh, it's like some plastic mesh, and between the pole and the mesh, sandwich in some of the sphagnum, I can't say it, sphagnum moss. I actually really like that. I like the looks of that pretty well. Probably not as much as this, but I will probably at some point give that method a try. But for now, I will be showing you guys this quick lazy person's method to making a moss pole. Okay guys, you'll have to find the best pair of scissors in your junk drawer, a hammer, a staple gun, of course, your stick, and cocoa liner. And I use the thinnest cocoa liner I could find. So the piece of wood is a 1x1 that I cut in half. Of course it wasn't even, so that half will be the portion I stick in the dirt. Make sure to have enough that it will stick down into the pot. If you make a bigger pole, you'll have to have more sticking down in the pot, so just be aware of that. I try and have at least 6 inches or so. And then we start cutting, and you just kind of have to finagle it as best you can. Make sure to have enough at the top to sort of fold it over. And then I like to staple the top portion just to start securing it. And then you wrap as tightly as you can and start stapling one side of the wood. And just continue down, pulling tightly as you go. You might also have to hammer some of them in if you think they're a little bit loose. Of course, longer staples will help. Then you start rolling the cocoa liner around the mat. Make sure not to do too little, better to do too much than too little. And then once you have successfully wrapped it around and created that double layer on that one side, you cut. And yes, slivers will be a thing along the way. So keep pulling tightly as you continue to staple down the pole. And if you have cut it evenly, it will wrap around in one nice layer and you'll have all the staples going down one side. Otherwise, it'll kind of be like me and a little bit all over the place. But it works. Continue to hammer along the way to keep those staples in. Then unfortunately, the end portion will always kind of look like a puckered butthole. It's kind of inevitable, just try and make it work as best you can, people. In a Tim Gunn voice. Next, I get the twine. I'm sure it's optional, but I think it kind of holds it all in place. I tie it to the top securely, and then I start wrapping in the direction that I rolled the cocoa liner, just to try and help relieve some of the stress on those staples, particularly if you have short staples. So just continue to wind tightly as you can, and then secure and knot at the bottom, allowing enough room, of course. And that's pretty much it. You have completed your moss pole. Hopefully it looks pretty good. And yes, do mist it as soon as you attach your plant to it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed and perhaps might make some moss poles of your own. It really wasn't that difficult, a little time consuming, and probably the most difficult portion of it was cutting the liner itself, especially since I have shit scissors that just don't do the job very well. But I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye!